This is Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity. I'm going to head on into Deerford now, a village I'm quite familiar with because this is the town that's in the backer beta. But there was stuff taken out of this that wasn't in the beta because of story reasons or whatever, so I haven't seen everything that's in this town.
Feels like I've been tossed around in a snowstorm.
Ooh. A thing happened. Lord Bernwigar, a cruel ruler from the north, has arrived at the stronghold. So he's a bad visitor. Leaving in 7 days, 23 hours. So he's here at my castle. He's lowering my prestige and my defense. He's gonna be there for 7 days, 8 days basically. I can pay him off for 250 copper and he'll leave. Or what does Send Escort do exactly? Oh, I can pick one of these two people who will apparently take him away, but then I don't know how long they'll be unavailable for. Well, let's try that. Let's send my rogue off. I'm like, hey, I need you to take Lord Bernwigar off and, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Just do what you gotta do. So, she's being escorted by Catriel, so that she'll be unavailable basically for 3 days unless I recall her. But now he's gone and he's no longer hurting my stuff. That's pretty cool. That's funny. 16 hours left on the Barbican. I don't understand what currently unpaid means. Like, just pay them then. If they're unpaid, pay them. I have plenty of money. What's the problem? Send in the hooker, he says. Adams. What? Oh, for the bad guest, you mean? Yeah. I don't think we have any hookers, unfortunately. Oh, it's Deerford. It's weird being... this is exactly where you spawn in the backer beta, too. When you start it up.
Alright, then.
It's weird being here
My eyes are
with my real characters. No, I want that free thing right there. I'm just gonna kind of clear a bit of the map up here. I don't really want it to be nighttime though. I'm gonna go to the inn and rest, I think. So what I'm going to do is, there's a companion apparently in this village, and she was not here in the beta, so I don't know where she is in town, but I'm going to go look for her. I'm not going to talk to you yet, Madreth. How long we got to stand out here? How long do we got to... Until we find her. Keep your eyes peeled. Not going to talk to you either, guard. A word, traveler. I only require a moment. Well, you're gonna have to wait, buddy. You're gonna have to wait. This felt like... What? Oh, I just feel like looking at this over here. What did I find? Oh my goodness. Who knew this was here? I'm the best at lying. You can go ahead and get in the... Here, you can carry some gold rot. Oh, does he even have... Oh, yeah, he does. I gave him the stuff that... Alright. Ooh, piglets. I don't need to talk to everybody and... Damn Gallowayne for monsters like that, and damn the rest of the gods, too. Wonder what he's mad about. Hi, everybody. You must have seen something. House Heron guards. We've already told you we haven't. Stop peeking in our windows. Fine, I'm gonna wander off over here then. Oh look, there's something to loot over here. Loot. Oh, it's stealing, huh? Well, if only I was really stealthy.
Eh? No problem.
Quick save. I'm stealing your vegetables. That's right. I got your vegetables. Okay. I am so benevolent and clever and honest. It's amazing. And a little bit passionate. Let's go in the inn and get us some rest. Just so it's daylight, basically.
I just want to find her. Surely even you can understand that.
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
Lord Herond, what a jackass. Anybody who's Lord anything is almost always a jackass, basically. It's Dengler. So, there's a guy named Stephen Dengler. He's a really cool dude. And he has quite a bit of money, and yet he's a, like, insanely avid gamer. So he backs all these games on Kickstarter, and he backs them big time. He gives them all, like, a lot of money, right? So he ends up getting, like, the highest tier of rewards in these games, which usually involves getting to, like, create some content or be in the game. So he got to make his own inn for, like, giving them $10,000 or whatever it was. And so this is his inn, like, that he got to design for the game, and that's him. That's why the bartender's name is Dengler. So it's kind of cool.
How do you do?
The innkeeper digs inside a mug with a dirty rag. His eyes under his thick brows are tired but watchful. He gives you a quick nod as you approach the bar. Don't see many travelers these days. Something I could do for you? Well, I'm not going to have this whole conversation with him right now. I just want to see what rooms you have. Let's see what rooms you have. Make sure you close your window if you're on the right side facing Trigal's shop. Ooh, the Dragon's Lair. That's some good bonuses. 2 might, 2 con, 2 intellect. Staying there is a good thing to do. Oh, I can do party management. So she's busy, see it says, so I can't bring her into my party. Okay, what's he got for sale? Do I need camping supplies? Nope.
How do you do?
He's got some Duke's Own beef loaf. That's good stuff. And some Pearlwood chicken. What else? What else? Wait, is that it? Really? That's all he has? Okay. Well, in that case... what I'm gonna do is just sleep in the stables for 30 copper. So it should be... so it's hour 11 now. So that should be 11 a.m. outside, right? So it should be... I should actually have some light. Yeah, here we go.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Okay. She's been missing for days. You people can't keep stonewalling us.
Smells like my old hunting leathers.
You can't just barge into our homes. We told you she's not here. Oh yeah. Trigal's Curriery, which is a leatherworking shop. Potions for sale, potions and ow. Oh. Handina's Apothecary. Where are you at, companion? Oh, okay, there she is. The woman looks briefly through you as if she doesn't know you're there. What is this crazy lady doing? What is she doing? Who am I gonna get rid of when I pull her into the group? Ooh, it's a tough call at this point. I want to keep the two new ones for a little while. I could drop Durance, I guess. Yeah, I'll drop Durance for just a little bit. Durance, I'm gonna need your stuff. All of it. Just in case. Just in case. Okay. This is the companion that was written by Chris Avallone. So, I have high hopes and high expectations. Avallone is gone. This middle-aged peasant woman is dressed in a brown leather cloth draped down to her knees. Her hands are working at separating stringy, colorless vegetables in a pile before her, stripping the heads off the long, fibrous stems with a paring knife. She discards the stems one by one, placing the heads of the vegetables into a small cradle-like basket in front of her. She doesn't greet you as you approach. You're not sure she even knows you there. Excuse me. The woman doesn't respond. She keeps stripping the heads from the vegetables with a steady rhythm. She may be deaf. There's no indication she heard you. Study the woman. At first glance, she seems nothing more than a middle-aged woman, unremarkable, maybe less stern than most, who seems more focused on the weaving in her lap than her surroundings. Yet you suddenly notice she's not stripping the vegetables before her any longer, she's weaving, and the vegetable pots are now missing. She still pays you no mind. Her brown locks torn and snagged from lack of washing, like many of the townsfolk you've seen. There is a strange blur to her. Even the motions of her hands seem to be playing with threads that lack color, and a shape that lacks interest. This is intriguing. It may be that she is half-minded or deaf, but something feels wrong. As you watch, her knitting takes on an odd cadence, and you have a terrible suspicion that something lurks beneath what your eyes are showing you. Focus on the woman. Her brown hair is long, almost impossibly to the length of her hands. As you follow the streams of her locks downwards, the hairs become long and black, splitting off into threads of black and silver and wrapping around her hands. She is forming a soul cradle with the threads, braiding a net in front of you, each finger long and sharp like a series of knitting needles, almost hypnotic. The silver and black strands of her hair weave together, with silver predominating as a highlight, the black shadowing it. And suddenly, you are calm. Crazy soul shit happening! You are on a plateau, almost the height of a tower, several stories high. The plateau is like a table lying beneath a clear sky, and beneath the plateau, surrounding it in all directions, a forest, hazy with mist, although whether it is actual mist, or distance, or a recollection. What? Resting in the curve of a natural arch above you is a great copper bell, half again the size of a man, hanging at attention, as if looking down on you and the event unfolding before you. How does a bell hang at attention? What does that even mean? Okay. The plateau has soaked in the sun, and the rock beneath you is rough and warm. The sky forms a cradle around you. You feel different, not disembodied, but you feel your body, your physical contours have changed along with the surroundings. And you hear a soft series of chimes, like wind chimes. At the sound, the scene gains color and texture, as if the sound is beckoning you gently forth, filling your senses and thoughts, like mist roiling softly into a sealed chamber. And focus on the chimes. The chime coaxes you deeper into the memory, and you're certain it is a memory, a warm one. You are on the stone of the plateau, your knees on the warm texture of the ground, silver, white, shimmering like Adra? The plateau is formed of it, glistening in the sun. You can feel the heat on your skin, your wrists, and your hands. Your hands are in motion. Weaving, not thread, but gathering, tenderly moving along the first movements of Barath's wheel. Your hands are wet, but your hands are upon the flesh of a newborn child, and you can feel the crowning of a tiny head, turning in your grip, its head slick, wet from the womb. The hands you are wearing, inhabiting, have done this many times, and they are practiced and confident. You can feel distant pains in your own head as the head emerges, a stream of fluid from the womb helping the newborn slide forth, and a woman's labored breathing, crying out. Focus on the child, the movement of your hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes, clear, cutting through the haze of memory. You cannot see where they are coming from, but they are close, and they are meant as a comfort, of that you are certain. Draw the child forth, and coaxed by your hands, every movement causing the chimes to sound again. Almost eagerly the child comes forth, and as it does, your hands are in motion, weaving, moving along the length of a soft, wet rope. No, an umbilical cord from the legs of the naked woman before you. You are holding a small child, still wet from the womb, before you. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the ringing of chimes echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you were viewing a soul from within a soul, but it is there. It is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. Surrender the child. You surrender the child to her, something you have done many times before. And as your hands move, the chimes echo the movement, and you realize the chimes are hanging from cords on your wrists. And where once they echoed in the memory, they are now echoing in the child's mind as well. The chimes are intended to welcome the child, to be its first gentle greeting into the world, a soothing sound guided by the tender motions of your wrists. You are helping to weave its thoughts, its perceptions, and the experience. The woman laughs with a ragged joy, laughing from a parched throat. Her emotions seem soothed, but the physical demands of labor have left her exhausted. But the child is here. The child is safe, and all atop the plateau is peaceful, calm, distant, flattening out as the memory persists. Slowly pull back, retreat from the memory. With effort, the scene bleeds of color, and your mind becomes your own again. There is no pull, no anchor, yet the sound of the chimes remain. As they existed in the memory, they sound here as well, and they are hanging from woven braids on the wrists of the woman before you. Even as your head is spinning from the touch of her mind, the sound of the chimes on her wrists are sharp and clear, as if coaxing you back to the real world. The woman still sits before you, but she is nothing like what you first saw. She is wearing black, shredded garments that drape over her form like streamers. Her hair is streaks of black and run through with silver. Her age is almost impossible to tell. She simply feels old, like a crumbled watchtower. As she lifts her head to face you, you see that her hair is draped across the front of her face like a veil. What you first saw of her was a mental glamour of some sort, unconscious, and you realize what you see is not what the world sees, and you are perhaps the first to see her true self. Still, you don't sense a threat in the realization. If anything, you feel a sense of relief from the figure. You can hear her thoughts, and she is glad to at last be seen. Oh, well, that's pretty fascinating. Something really interesting is going on with this person. I think she's a cipher also, like me. So there'll be some mind power stuff here. But I actually need to take a really fast break. I'll be right back in just like a minute or two at the most. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's go. Sound and everything is working, so yeah. Although there's no sound in the game currently. So we just went through this whole vision with her, and you feel a sense of relief from the figure. She's glad to at last be seen. So okay. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm set now. Get him A for me, whatever you are. Who are you?
I am seen, but the eyes of others do not remember. You were the first to see me as I am, the call stripped aside.
There is a light touch on your mind, a caress, and her left hand mirrors the motion of the touch, reaching up to the air between you. You hear the chime on her wrist sound softly. Her hand moves as if pantomiming, resting on your cheek at a distance, and she speaks softly and slowly. Your memories. A cadence of wheels on a caravan track. Fever. Questions by running water. She swallows, and the chime sounds as her hand shakes. Violence in a night's campfire, arrows in the dark, and fleeting, falling rock and cracking stone, and a storm. She stops, her hand frozen in the air. The storm.
The storm that brushed you. Did its screaming wake you from your mind's cradle? Your memory of it is painful. Its cry is difficult to ignore. It's like a child. Many children crying out.
The question seems to be for both of you. Be cautious what you read in my mind without my leave. I encountered the Beerwick, yes, and it did something to me. Her hand withdraws shyly, the chime sounding softly once again. The woman stands uncertainly as if she has been sitting for some time, or is too weak to bear her own weight. You notice her cheekbones are tight, her face gaunt, yet while her stance is weak, she seems determined to stand before you. You are able to see me. It is almost a question. You suddenly realize she doesn't seem to know what you saw when you looked at her, the image on the plateau. Yet the image was so clear, so sharp, you're surprised she didn't feel you there.
To see me is a rare gift, a watcher's gift.
Wow, whatever this is, it won't even tell you what the requirement is that I don't have. Huh, that's interesting. But I can say something cool because I'm a cipher. And so is she. It felt like a pathway between our minds, but strange, gentle.
So many questions, thoughts, whirling like storm winds. That that storm still roars through you, deep beneath your thoughts, yet muted and secret, like an underground river. You cannot tell if it is carving new channels, or eroding what keeps your true strength buried.
It's an interesting thought.
The fact that you could hear it at all, survive it, is something few have ever done. Your power will grow stronger with each soul you touch, as it allowed you to reach out to mine.
There is a silence, and although it seems to last for but a heartbeat, in your thoughts it stretches out between the two of you, like a pull between your minds. You blink, take a breath, and then you realize she wants to ask you a question, but can't form the words, as if assembling them is painful, or there simply are not enough pieces. Assemble the thought. Do you wish to travel with me? You feel a wave of fear, gusted with the strength of relief, although oddly, her expression does not change. Then fear dissipates, and you feel strength and certainty, as if the plateau from her memory lies beneath you, and a calm sky looks down upon you. Oh, boom. Party management, motherfucker. Okay, well, Durance, I believe we stripped you naked for a reason. Take your crazy ass back to the keep. And I will take you, grieving mother. Accept. And we've got the dream and memory quest now. I met a strange woman whom I know only as the grieving mother. She never even told me what her name was, or she never, introduced herself as anything. She's a powerful cipher who shrouds herself from plain view. Yet even though our minds experience a powerful communion, I know little about her or where she came from. When I first encountered the grieving mother on the road, I experienced a dream, or what is it, a memory, of childbirth. Perhaps the grieving mother herself can explain what I saw. So this is by far the most mysterious companion. I mean, we know jack about her. We know nothing. And we have to, figure her out. What is my... biography say? You shared a strange connection with a woman whom you instinctively think of as the grieving mother. She joined you in Deerford, but you haven't seen anyone else take notice of her since. But she seemed more like she was like the midwife, not the mother, right? I mean, she was delivering babies, and I said she'd done it many times before, and then she gave the baby to the mother. Why do I think of her as the mother if she was the midwife? There was no indication that she had her own baby, was there? I don't know. I guess maybe when she was on the plateau, the baby that we had there was supposed to be hers. Or something. Curious. What? Which one of these? Okay. Alright, well, we're obviously going to talk to her some more.
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed. Eh? Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
Yeah?
Yes?
Everybody else is just polysyllabic or monosyllabic, just like...
Following your lead.
Except
Yes?
for...
Hey,
Ready, Watcher.
need something?
Eh?
Alright, I guess they don't always just go eh or huh or whatever.
Need something?
I'm here.
On your word.
Hey,
Eh?
She did the chimes as her, the jingles as her, acknowledgement.
Yeah.
need something?
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
Need something?
Huh, okay. What's she got? Soul Ignition, Puppet Master, Call Agony, Phantom Foes, and Mind Blades. Mind Wave, Eye Strike. She has the exact same 3 first level spells I do. She has 2 out of 3 of the same second levels, and 1 out of 2 of the same third level. So she's got pretty good taste in spells. And I gotta say, I like the idea of having 2 ciphers and being able to double up on some of this stuff.
Eh?
Actually, I was thinking one of the times I want to try this with a custom party, I might run like 6 ciphers. Or, you know, a mixed group of just ciphers and rogues. Okay. So she was a midwife. It says so right there. She has some shitty ass stats, but that's to be expected from companions. Why? Why would she only have a 12 intellect though? Well, okay. I'm super slow and she's pretty fast with the 16 dex, so it'll be interesting to watch, like, if we both cast the same thing at the same time, we can watch to see like how much faster she does it than me, because she's got plus 18% speed and I have minus 21, so she should be 39% more fast, 39% more fast, like 39% faster than me, I guess. So that'll be interesting to see. Oh, she's got good stealth. Welcome to the team. I like to see that. And she actually has some athletics. And she's got a little bit of lore. She's kind of got a little bit of everything. Yeah, she's got the same 2 talents. Well, she doesn't have the same 2. She has 2 out of the same 3 that are going to be my first 3 talents. So that's good. They didn't put her dumb talents on her. Yeah, I can work with this. I can work with this. What is she equipped with? A dagger. She's got her own fine crossbow. That's good. Just some normal fine padded armor, huh? Yeah, about that. I'm afraid that's not what you're going to be wearing. She's a mirror of my character again. First of all, this dagger here, that's done. Let's be realistic.
Eh?
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Sure.
Okay, let's just go ahead and... kind of like this robe, actually. It's sort of like... crappy looking, which sort of fits her like whole... Alright, let's talk to her some more.
Eh? Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
She is kind of fascinating.
Your mind comes bearing questions, Watcher.
I had questions for you. Let your mind speak for you. I shall listen past the words. I shall listen past the words. That's cool. How is it no one can see you?
Their eyes see, but their minds will not remember past the call.
Call?
My face is like the call of a newborn, hiding the face beneath. And for my body, I am able to wrap myself as a mother cradling her child. I am here, as you see me, but to them, their eyes see only the cloak that I wear. A peasant mother, dirty, shabby, not worth knowing. As a watcher, you see more than others. To the eyes of most, I am as unseen as the spirits you share memories with.
How are you able to affect minds? I divert the flow of their senses down a different path, to a place easily forgotten. It is not unwelcome. It is not unwelcome when one does not desire the presence of others. The surface of their minds register a figure, but the memory slips away. They see a woman, but there is no desire for conversation, no desire for any questions, and I have none to ask. I want to discuss something different. Let your mind speak for you. I shall listen past the words. When we first met, how was I able to enter your dream?
I do not know. What do you speak of? If you were in my thoughts, I could not feel your presence, nor do I know what you saw there.
As she soul shit. As she speaks, you suddenly feel an odd sensation in your mind, as if walking in her thoughts would be as if walking down a back street of merchant stalls. The claustrophobia of wooden shelves and canvas tarps made less oppressive by the sheer number of enticing vials and bottles that stretch out to the side of you. You suddenly realize that whether she permits it or not, you could enter her dream and observe it without her ever knowing. And in response, your hand twitches. There is the feeling that you could simply pick up a vial, taste it, sample it, and keep the memories your own. And suddenly, you find yourself back in your present thoughts. Though you were away for but a moment, she seems unaware of your diversion of thought. It may be one of your gifts, an ability to walk in memories as easily as someone walks upon the ground. Perhaps you'd like to hear of what I saw in your memories. A mixture of curiosity and fear wells up between you. She raises her left hand, the chiming at her wrists quelling the rise within her. She is frightened, but curiosity anchors her.
And what did you see in my memories? I would hear you speak of them.
The dream, the memory I saw upon meeting you, it was you, helping give birth to a child. There is silence, and as your breath falls still, you hear the faint cry of a child in the distance, a newborn child, almost exactly like what you heard in the dream. As you listen, the grieving mother raises both her hands as if weaving, her wrists chiming as she does so, in a semblance of the gentle turning she provided while the newborn was crowning. To your surprise, you recognize the motions and the words from the memory. Even as they are new to you. As she weaves her hands through the air in front of her, the child's cries grow still, yet the sound of the chimes weaves almost hypnotically into your thoughts. The sky seems sharp and clear, and you feel as if you are towering over your surroundings, as if kneeling atop a great pillar, just as she did in the memory. To your surprise, the grieving mother falls as if her strings were cut, and her knees crack hard against the ground. Her hands never cease moving in the air, the chimes echoing her movements. In a ragged voice, you hear her speak. The voice is that of a much older woman than the one before you, harsh, almost desperate.
Tell me what you saw. Show me what you saw. Where were you?
Her eyes, now terribly sharp and real, are filmed with white, silver white, like Audra. Wow. So this is cool. All of these are kind of unsure, but if you're a cipher, you get this one that's where you're like very sure about exactly what you saw. Otherwise, you have to pick one of these ones where they're like, I don't know, it was some shit. Like, that's cool. It was in the middle of a forest atop a great plateau. The sky was clear, mist blanketing the trees. As she kneels before you on the ground, she whispers to you, hoarsely and even fainter with the distance between you.
The stone of the plateau. Its color. Tell me its color.
It was silver Audra, its surface warmed by the sun. As you watch, her hands rise before her. She clasps them, then cups them, as if feeling them for the first time, and she stares down into the cradle of her hands, and the chimes sound once, twice, as they swing with the movement.
And what did these hands hold?
Again she speaks, sharp, hoarse. A newborn child. There is a sudden intake of breath, and then a release. Her eyes blur closed, forming into slits, but in the brief glimpse you have of her changing expression, the rippling pain in her features seems to have smoothed. She swallows once, twice, and then you feel her once again in your thoughts, the rasping husk of her voice swallowed and drawn within her.
It was the birthing bell you saw. Has it been so long? Have I forgotten so much?
There is surprise, followed by a rising horror swirling beneath the words. The birthing bell, huh? This is sounding With the words comes a river of impulses, thoughts, as if loosed from a breaking dam, and as your mind wraps the impulses into words, you realize it is her muscles and her hardened thoughts relaxing and breathing again. There is such an intensity, you almost want to step back from the flow, but you find the wave of impulses cause questions to float to the surface. Among them is a name, Watcher. What is the birthing bell?
It is a plateau formed of the spirit stone Audra. At its top is set a great bell, cradled in the reaching arm of the plateau. It stirs in the wind, and it sounds for leagues when struck by kith hands.
Sounds interesting.
In distant times, the great bell served as a Glanfathan watchtower, perhaps. Why they abandoned it, I do not know. Other men came in time, settlers, and claimed the tower as their own. I, in turn, claimed it from them. The pillar became a cradle where I could draw new souls into the world.
I, in turn, claimed it from them. The pillar became a cradle where I could draw new souls into the world. That sounds pretty hard. I mean, she was pretty powerful, I guess. She was doing some stuff. Where is the birthing bell located? The birthing bell lies deep in the great forests of the Deerwood, at the borders of the Glanfathan lands. Surrounding it, barely a town, not one you would find on any map. But it held an important place for those there, even if we were far from the beaten track. Small families, tied like a knot, joined at the wrists in mind, in thought. All were welcomed. All had purpose. In your memory, were you helping a woman give birth?
Yes. Yet, I believe you only saw a small part of the birthing ritual. It is not all in a moment, nor in a day. It is a journey of many years between the child, the mother, and I.
Wow. There was much I could do to aid the mother. Some sought the physical comforts of ritual to steady their thoughts, even Adra from the bell. Others would seek advice, words of counsel for the days ahead. I was able to provide drafts, tinctures, and a reading of the child's spirit, all to strengthen the mother. Can you tell me about the birthing ritual?
The ritual was one of many steps. It took many tens of years to carve them, but always the child's thoughts were there to guide me from the moment it began to awaken, to the 3 seasons within the mother, to the birthing day, and the years to follow. The child's thoughts, that is where it began.
That's interesting. That would make for a pretty good midwife / caretaker of a child, being able to read the baby's very thoughts.
The expectant mother, I could often sense her thoughts, and those of her child. Before she could, I would soothe her, free her from the panic of questions. I would would sound the memory of the birthing bell atop the plateau in her mind, letting the memory of the vibrations fill my thoughts and hers. Often, the child's soul could hear it too, so the sound of the bell echoed in the mother's thoughts.
You sense the mother's thoughts? Sharing memories and thoughts can bond lives together, as can hardships, and most of all, the sharing of what is familiar. The bell itself provided shelter for such thoughts, opportunities to see deep into the crevice, hollows in the rock where one could find shelter, clefts where you could feel the Adra all around you.
As she speaks, you feel your legs bent, crossed, and the warmth of walls around you, and blankets woven thick beneath you. Such shared images can bond souls even tighter, and allow them to draw strength from each other.
You mentioned the ritual lasted years. What would happen after the birth? Once the pain is channeled away, and the mother and child breathe again, I sound the birthing bells on my wrists, and allow the mother to hear the child's thoughts, the ringing, echoing in each other's thoughts. The bells open the way between them. Let her feelings pass into the newborn, and let her feel the child in return. And when the feelings meet, that is when I weave another memory, and leave it tied in their minds.
These bells do sound important.
Did these bells play an important role in the birthing process? Yes, and for years after. I gave a set to the child after delivery. It is a reminder of the memory the mother and child shared.
You feel an odd sensation, a warmth, and you can feel a smile being shared. Then it flickers, and it is gone.
As the bells coax the child forth, so they accompany the child onwards, fastened about the wrists, to care for him, in mind and body. There is no magic in it except the magic of practicality. If a child sought to leave their cradles or escape their cribs, the mother could know through the warning of the chimes alone. At times, if the bond was strong, so would I. The sensation of a smile comes again, slower, more knowing, between you. If not watched, children, much trouble may be had from tiny hands. The chimes are kept until the child needs them no longer. When I no longer can hear them sounding in my mind, I know their spirit has changed, and the bonds we shared are long gone. This shedding may last many years, or but a few, but it is necessary.
This is really cool.
You watched over these children for years after their births? Children are fragile things. Even the ties of blood and mind may not be enough. They must be watched. And even then, the body may fail the mind. But if watched, even the most sickly child may cling to life if determined enough, and many of their souls were tied to me. If a child's spirit failed, I could sound the chimes in their mind and grant them strength, even from afar, It did not always serve, but it gave hope. It sounds like you've seen tragedy too. Enough to never wish to feel it again. In the times before the bell, children who died were cast upon the waters of the lake beyond the bell. Sometimes, while alive, if their paths and futures were deemed weak. It was a different time. Children were treated carelessly. Those times are past. I have other questions about the birthing bell. Ask what you will. I will provide what answers I can. Why would you give a telling of a child's spirit?
Many would come seeking their child's future, or a reading into the child's past, the lives its soul is said to have lived.
There is a slow chill, and for a moment it seems as if she is going to fade from your vision, as if she can't bear to be seen, and there is a spike of fear, alarm.
Such things are not mine to see. I meant no offense.
Oddly enough, it feels like she's not speaking to you. It feels like she's speaking to an audience. The air takes on a curious edge, a chill, which persists for a sharp moment, then fades into a dull fear. You feel the word Watcher resounding in her mind. You're frightened. Something about Watchers. As the thought of Watchers crosses your mind, you feel a sharp pain, stabbing, and the sudden burn of lashes across your back and shoulder, and then it is gone, and you feel the grieving mother before you, silent, almost fearful, wary. Oh, she's been mistreated by Watchers before, like maybe beaten or interrogated, something, whipped.
Something else, but because the title Watcher was cast on me, the word carried a weight I had neither earned nor deserved. The world seems filled with such titles. They distract, I think, from the actions of the person, from their strengths.
Yeah, good point. So they thought she was a Watcher because she has, like, her mental powers or whatever, and because of that, they weren't too happy with her. Why did they believe you were a Watcher?
The world has many corners, and in some corners the name Watcher is more known. It is an easier title than others, and at times it is easier to wear. Placing a title upon what is unknown can dispel the fear of it, and I did not fight it. I even believed it true, though I knew little of the ways of Watchers. It even granted me strength.
Interesting.
I was able to see the thoughts of others, shape them, and help guide souls. Watcher seemed enough, and the name seemed to matter little in the light of one's acts.
Yeah, starting to yawn, you heard me. I haven't been awake that long, actually, so I should be fine, but But if they came to you to read their child's souls, what did you tell them?
I drew upon the present. I felt the soul of the mother before me, and used that to tell the child's path, to give it a voice. If only the thoughts of the mother and the emotions that lie beneath were mine to impart. I did, and so I used that as the telling of their child's future.
And what if the mother's emotions were painful, hurtful?
One must guard oneself when drawing upon the thoughts of another. The pain of a mother's rage and disdain. It can be a powerful poison.
You sound like you speak from experience.
Yes, and I live with that weakness still. I have learned to shield myself from such edged thoughts, strip them away, and to tell a clearer picture of the child.
So you shaped their thoughts, made the readings true?
This is my calling, to show them the life I see before them, and even greater, make them believe it.
Okay, a picture is starting to become clear to me, at least is my theory, okay? So I like to theorize about the characters as I get to know them before I actually know the stuff. So I'm thinking she was badly treated by her mother, maybe very badly or whatever, and it kind of fucked her up, and so now she's taken this calling upon herself to like help. You know, she does this ritual which makes this great bond between the mother and child, and you know, kind of sets things up so that they'll everything will be good, you know, between them. And she does that because her own experiences with her mother were so terrible. Like, I don't know. That's kind of what's the impression I'm getting, like, initially here. We'll see if I'm right.
Why would you do such a thing?
Even the most strongly worded tells may not be enough to save a child and allow it to be born. If I have the strength to strip away the stem of a mother's spite to expose kindness, weave nurturing from disdain and neglect, then that is my calling.
Right.
And with the weight of Watcher behind my thoughts, these tells gain strength. Strength I never possessed on my own. They believed. And what they believed became the truth. With each child that was set upon that path, the title of Watcher became stronger.
So she's basically a false watcher, and she let people believe it and even used that to lend credence to her work. Interesting.
You must understand, without such weight upon my words, many lives would have been lost, drowned, cast in the lake beyond the bell. Now the trail to the lake is lost and reclaimed by the forest, as was meant. A watcher was not there to look over us, but it was a watcher that saved them. And with a watcher's strength, children were born, were cared for, and grew strong.
I see. I'm not sure which one of these two I want to say. So she said they used to throw the babies in the lake too, like that there was a lot of children that were perceived as, I don't remember what she said exactly, but the children weren't like perceived that they were going to be weak or something, that they would kill the babies. And so she kind of took it upon herself to make sure that didn't happen. And I guess it sounds like she stopped that from happening by by creating these bonds between the mothers and children, and telling a future for the child that wasn't necessarily accurate, but then she made it accurate by her influence over the initial birth of the child and the development of the child with the mother and everything. So this is pretty interesting. Hey there, Neridan again. Thanks for stopping by. How's the game so far, you ask? Any bugs besides the stat thing? No, I haven't run any bugs that I know of, except for the stat thing. But it's really good. I mean, I really like the combat. I really like the story, the world, the lore, the music. It's fun. I like it a lot. It's pretty much what I was expecting. I would say I'm not disappointed by it based on what I was looking for out of the game. I mean, I can't give a really 100% opinion on it till I play the whole thing and finish it, and then I'll see, if I really feel like it was great or not. But so far, I think it's pretty good. It's not Planescape Torment to me still, in terms of like story and characters yet, but we'll see. I have the Steam version. I think I'm going to argue with her a little bit. See how she defends this point. To inflict your will on another, that is not reading, that is control.
What use is a frightened will when a spirit is at stake? Would you let the fears of a mother end her newborn's life? You felt it in the memory, the weight of it, the importance of the child's life. It was a memory we shared.
Oh, I just had another thought. It might not have just been her mother that was me. Maybe she had previously had a child, and because of the beliefs of where she was, or she was talked into it, or she thought she did too, maybe she killed her own baby. And then was like horrified and regretful about it later, and so she took it upon herself to do this. That's an even more interesting twist. Yeah, Sasori, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm more excited for Torment Tides of Numenera than any game basically ever. I mean, for like the last 10 years. Because Planescape Torment is by far my favorite game of all time. So, Tides of Numenera, it looks like it's going to be awesome. But this, I've been really, really eagerly anticipating this as well. Here we go. This is interesting. Did we share that memory, or did you inflict it on me? And suddenly there is a rasping cry across your consciousness. She raises her hands, and you see the chimes drape from them, yet they make no sound as she moves.
A greater good was done, and children were saved. It is a choice you may be forced to make one day, and when faced with it, you will make the same one.
This is interesting. Okay. So she's not as innocent as she seems. You're playing this right now, you mean? Yeah, Planescape is indeed amazing. You love Avalon, you should design more games. Lead design. I agree. I've liked pretty much every game he's been involved with quite a bit. I have. I've only been running with just one tank, just a dare, but I also have kind of Kana as kind of a backup tank, but not really that. He doesn't really tank very well. So I try to keep all the aggro as much as possible on it there. But he's a beast. But then again, part of the reason he's a beast is because his stats are artificially inflated because of that bug. So, you know, he won't be quite as good once his stats are fixed, which is fine. I mean, I don't want his stats to be, you know, like artificially inflated. So this NPC is pretty interesting. This companion, Grieving Mother. Interesting story going on here. So she says, when faced with that choice, I will make the same one. Which... Which I think she's right. I think I'm going to have to agree with her. Yes, I am certain I will.
That is good, Watcher.
Her thoughts lap against yours like cool, soothing waters. I have other questions about the birthing bell. Maybe I don't. I want to discuss something different. Well, this is weird. Now it's lit up like there's... Let your mind speak for you. I shall listen past the words. Can you tell me about the birthing bell?
The birthing bell. It is where I could draw new souls into the world. I recall some of the memory of it through what you have seen, but not all.
Hold on, so I said this already.
Yet, I believe...
And...
The ritual
I said this already.
I could often sense her thoughts, and those of...
Said this. Alright, we're done talking about the birthing bell for now.
I heard the name Watcher in your thoughts when you remembered the birthing bell. Why?
It is because I once believed I was one, and others believed I was one.
Okay, right, we've been through that. Oh, this is interesting now.
There is a slow chill, and for a moment it seems as if she is going to fade from your vision, as if she can't bear to be seen.
Now, we saw that bit of text right there before, but this is different stuff. And that one, again, it will not tell you what the requirement is there. Because normally it tells you if it was like for a certain race, or for a certain class, or for a certain god choice, or a certain stat requirement. It tells you what it was, and then that you don't have it. But this one is like mysterious. Like, it doesn't want to let you know what the requirement was there. That's pretty interesting. Two times in this dialogue with her, and no times anywhere else in the game have I seen a requirement not met that's not specified. So they're being all secretive with her thing. So, well, I'm gonna say the cipher thing. I'm glad. Like, I knew that I was gonna play a cipher, and I knew that this companion was a cipher. So I was hoping there'd be some extra interesting dialogue with this companion based on being a cipher too. And it appears that there is, which is pretty neat. So I'm gonna say this.
There is another name for someone with our abilities. This cipher does not define you any more than Watcher does. It diminishes the nature of who you are, dims the flame of thought and drive. Yet, if it calms others to define you in such a way, then comfort may be taken in that. That is a cloak as well that serves to dispel fear, hate. Why did you believe you were a watcher? The world has many corners.
Did we already read this exact thing?
And in some corners, the name Watcher is more known. It is an easier title than others, and at times it is easier to wear. Placing a title upon what is unknown can dispel the fear of it, and I did not fight it. I even believed it was true, though I knew little of the ways of Watchers. It even granted me strength. I was able to see the thoughts of others, shape them, and help guide souls. Watcher seemed enough, and the name seemed to matter little in the light of one's acts.
Do you know anything about Watchers?
I feel that they were once marked, hated. Such hate feels dimmed now. I can feel it. Other hatreds have risen for other titles. But they burned bright in the past. Now hates have shifted focus, and they may fall on the same again, either you or I. Let me ask you about something else. If I have answers, I will share them. I wanted to know more about you.
And I. In asking, we reveal ourselves to each other.
What do you think of Deerwood and the Empire? Those titles are markings on a map, and channel people's minds in violent directions. Such things are a threadbare blanket cast over the world, where men and women seek more importance than simply being.
Wow, that's a pretty cool line. That's a statement.
How do you see the world, then? The world is a field of souls, tilled by Bereth's wheel. The thought of cultures and territories do not concern me. The sowing and harvest of the field does. Bereth's wheel has slowed, perhaps stopped altogether. Whatever words, titles, laws, and blades not devoted to carving away the harm or healing that wound holds little importance for me. There's something else I would know about you. I welcome your questions. It is a strange sensation after so long. Why are you called the Grieving Mother?
The air seems to go still for a moment, and time stretches as it did before when the two of you first met. There is a wash of uncertainty from her mind, slowly shaping into questions that swirl and do not coalesce. She does not move. She seems paralyzed, as if you have just wrapped her in a cold blanket.
That is a question for you, not I. That is not my name, although if you wish to hang the title on me, I cannot stop you. Is that what you see when your eyes fall upon me?
So, I named you? As a watcher, you may see what I do not, or your mind shapes the thoughts I project into a new meaning. There is truth in that title, but it is not all I am.
So what do you grieve, then?
You must have felt it, seen it. It has as many names as the pain it has caused. As the words take shape, they seem to tumble from her, and the wave is great, rushing into your mind. To your surprise, you feel as if you've been touched by the Beowick again, and behind it, cutting through the torrent like a knife, are the thoughts of the grieving mother. There is a wound cut across the belly of the world, a jagged knife that has stripped the stems from men and carved furrows across the wombs of women. There is much I have forgotten, but I can feel the wound all around me. It will not let me rest, not let me be. The children have gone silent, yet their voices may be heard again. Are you speaking of the Hollowborn? The word... There is a slowness of thoughts, as if the word is being weighed, accepted. It doesn't feel natural to her. You can sense it. Was once unknown to me, as was much of what unfolded in the outside world. When the curse came upon us, I thought it a smaller thing, a thing of communities and hearths. Thoughts seemed to stumble, as if on weak legs. It was only when I walked did I feel it stretching out around me in all the cracks of the world. Children have been cursed. I do not think it was something they caused, nor something deserved. That which is inside them has been torn away. I do not know how, but this wound must be stitched closed. Well, yeah. It seems like kind of a big deal. The world bleeds forth from between a woman's legs. If this blood is not stemmed, the world will die and grow quiet. Do you know its cause? There is a desperation, a welling fear, and you can almost feel her thoughts shivering, and you realize she is as lost as you are on the matter. And then a sudden, sharp clarity. I shall know it, through you. Your eyes will track the cause, find the path, and I will be beside you. There is no wound that cannot be healed, and if you are truly a watcher, then this wound may be seen for what it is. You saw me where I hid. Whoever's hands have stilled the world, you shall see them too. And if there is no way to heal it, what then? I will be there, and you will do what must be done. You were given your sight so that you may watch the world, and you will tend it. The children shall have their voice again. If your will is weak, then I shall strengthen it. Lean upon me. You feel a weight in her words, as if her hands are on your shoulders. You feel the questions in your mind lose their edge and become merely words. As I lean upon you, you shall be my eyes, as I shall be your hands when the time comes. Well then, this is interesting. She seems pretty important to the mission at this point. Pretty tied in with what's going on. Let's continue our journey for now. Addendum added. Okay. So, we've learned a lot here. When I first encountered the grieving mother on the road, I experienced a dream, or was it a memory, of childhood. Perhaps the grieving mother herself can explain what I saw. She didn't realize that I'd seen inside her mind, nor did she know exactly what this vision was. If I can help her recall the details, perhaps then she'll be able to tell me more. The memory involved a place known as the Birthing Bell. It was clearly of great significance to the grieving mother. Perhaps she can tell me something of what happened there and why it is important to her. The grieving mother was a midwife at the Birthing Bell, and she used to read the souls of unborn children. However, she admitted that such readings were often fabricated based on what the expectant mother wanted to hear. She clearly thought she was doing these women and their children a service, but she wasn't inclined to discuss the matter further at this moment. Perhaps she'll open up more as our journeys continue. Cool. It's going to be really hard deciding which companions I want to take everywhere with me, because they all are pretty interesting and they seem to be tied into the story of the game in different ways. I feel that that there is a great improvement or difference between this game and the Baldur's Gate games, at least Baldur's Gate 1, but also Baldur's Gate 2 to a certain extent, in that the characters, the companions, it feels like they have more fleshed out stories, and that their stories and their personal stuff that they have going on is much more tied in to the central themes and central plot lines of the actual game itself. Which definitely didn't really feel like the case, except for one or two companions in Baldur's Gate games. I mean, Emowyn was obviously tied in directly to the main plot, but beyond that, a lot of the companions just seems like sort of these random people that kind of just joined you, but their personal stuff wasn't really connected to the game's story that well. Whereas, okay, in Planescape Torment, the characters were deeply, deeply tied into the main story, which is one of the things I really liked about it. And it feels like they brought back a lot of that element to this game, which I like a lot. It feels good in that respect. Like when you're exploring the stories of the characters, it feels like you're also exploring the story of the game itself more. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, it's pretty cool. I approve of that.
Your mind comes bearing questions, Watcher.
I don't think... yeah, that's all. Alright, so there's nothing more to talk to anybody about now. I have her, and
your thoughts must flow.
I know how to play her pretty well, since she's not totally a mirror of my character, but she's very similar. She has a lot of the same spells. So she's going to be played just the same. She's going to stand back and shoot the crossbow and cast the cipher spells. I mean, do I have a better weapon I can give her? Let's see. I have an extra fine crossbow. Where are all my firearms at? I guess... there's the arquebus. Where'd the pistol go? The fine pistol. Oh, it's right there. We'll compare and figure out which... see, she actually is really fast. Unlike me, I'm slow as heck, right? So, with my 3 decks. But she's actually fast. 16 decks. So, like, the reloading and stuff, of the times of the firearms might not be such a big disadvantage for her. I think I'm sticking with my arbalists. But she will probably use the arquebus as her main. And then... let's see. I don't know which... the fine pistol or the fine crossbow. Let's do a comparison. So the pistol does a little bit more damage, and it has DR bypass. But it has reduced crit damage, and it has -5 accuracy, and it's going to be slower than the crossbow to reload. So it's tough to decide there, kind of. I think she'll use fine crossbow. She might not even use the arquebus, actually. She might just use 2 different fine crossbows. And that arbalist does a boatload of damage.
It's amazing. Kind of sad that nobody's using the arquebus now, actually. I guess Kana could use it instead of his bow. He usually only ever shoots one time and then he runs off and he switches to his pike. So it was his gun, actually. That's where I got it. He had this when I recruited him. So maybe I'll let him use that for his pulling and then he switches to his pike, because that's going to do more damage than the bow. But he'll hold on to the bow nonetheless. Those are both loaded, right? And mine are both loaded. The jingle jangle. She's got considerably more constitution than I do also. So a 5th level Cipher with 3 con has 56 endurance, with 12 con has 75, and 297 health versus 253. That's not a big difference in health, but it's a fairly significant difference in endurance. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to decide. Combusting wounds. Maybe Kana will
Following your lead.
use that. Where is it?
On your word. On your word.
Is he only allowed to have one ring with a spellbind on it?
Eh?
It's not showing up on my stuff either. Wait, what? What's going on with this ring? It used to work, like you put it on the person and
Your
then
thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
they had combusting wounds that would show up on their bar.
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
Is that broken somehow?
Ready, Watcher.
Because
I'm here.
it's kind of looking like it. She has lore of 2. Durance had this, and it gave him the spellbind. Well, that's just weird. Who has enough lore for that? The druid doesn't. The grieving mother doesn't. I do. Dare also doesn't. Kana has a ton of lore. Okay. He can have that scroll of defense then. Okay, this guy's a little thief. I like this. So Haravius is running around,
Yeah?
and
Will do.
he's wearing Aloth's leather armor, Kana's turban, and wielding Durance's staff. He's got everybody else's named items. So that's another bug that's known with items is they randomly lose their ability to
Eh?
like she's got the ability from her thing right here, these gloves with a spellbind,
Hey,
and
following your
he's
lead.
got his ability from this ring, but this other ring just randomly stopped working. No matter who I put it on. Maybe if I put it back on Durance, it would still work for him. Probably not though, huh? Oh, who wants the +1 might hat?
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, here's what's weird too. Okay, she does not have the talent that increases her maximum focus by 10. She doesn't have it. And she's level 5. And I'm level 5. And I do have it. Okay, right? And yet, she has the same focus as I do. Hers should only be 30. Does she have some sort of special something that... It's interesting, this thing adjusts to who you actually have in the party, I think. Because, like, it says most damage done Seraphina, although, when I still had my rogue in the party, it was clearly her. So it must mean most damage done out of just the people who are here. Most powerful enemy defeated for Adair, a boar. Just okay. All right, buddy. Let's see, Adam says, looking over the forum, lots of hirelings all become listed as unpaid whenever I launch the game and load a save game posts, too. What does unpaid even mean? Like, are they going to leave? And why would they leave? I still have plenty of money to pay them. Stronghold doesn't give tax. It only claims taxes multiple Oh, it's supposed to be giving me money? Like taxes? Maybe that's what the prestige is all about? You get more. That's what I thought I remember hearing. Okay, this guy's being escorted away. Currently unpaid. No idea what that means. 34 minutes. So the Western Barbican will be Barbican. Okay. Well, I've gotten Haravius, Sagani, and Grieving Mother. There's only one left to get. And she's the one who hails from the same land that my character does. It'll be interesting to hear. I want to hear how she's voice acted. It'll probably sound nothing like my stupid accent. But it'll sound more like how it's supposed to sound, I guess, for a Valian. So, I'm gonna go to... I have an idea. Well, first of all, who has sufficient might to make good use of that? Maybe Kana. Or maybe me.
Eh? Your thoughts must flow deep.
Maybe if I put that on and then I rest, it'll,
Yes?
Eh?
you know, like, magically start working. So I am gonna rest.
No problem.
Actually, I have to go into Andra's gift for the last companion. I might as well just go back to the fortress. I'll also unlock the next zone here. Deerford Crossing. See, the entire backer beta of the game was nothing but these 3 maps. And stuff was taken out of them. Like the companions, and some of the stuff you could do with the dungeon here was taken out. You couldn't get to the lower level of it. And I don't know what else they took out from these places, but they took stuff out. So it was a pretty small beta considering the whole size of the game. So I'm going to go back to the stronghold. I'm going to rest. I'm going to save the game. And then that's going to do it for this episode. And it's also going to do it for my stream for a little while. I'm going to stop streaming for, I don't know, an hour or two. And then I'll come back a little while later. What's this say? So, Western Barbican completed. Fellow of St. Widewin has arrived, seeking employment. He was nearly set upon by brigands by the road, but your patrols intervened. See, I think that only happened because I have a high enough security rating. If my security was lower, that I wouldn't have gotten that result. So Barbican's done. Money's starting to get low. So I can hire this guy. He's a special people come by sometimes that you can hire. Look how expensive he is, though. Oh my god. He gives good bonuses, though. But man, 90 per day. I don't even... know what I'm supposed to do with that. That's a lot. Oh, what the hell. I'm gonna make lots of money as soon as I start, you know, adventuring again. Oh, and does he take up 2 slots too? No, it was just a graphical bug. So I hired him. It says he's a guest, so I wonder if that means he's like hanging out in one of my guest rooms up on in the house. I guess we'll find out. So now I could build a Bailey, towers. What I really want next, what I really want is the Artificer's Hall. The Artificer's Hall stores novel contraptions. Rebuilding it will allow you to buy traps there and to receive a mechanics bonus for resting at Bright Hollow. I want that. I want a mechanics bonus pretty badly. That is not cheap though. Wow. Is there something else I should be building first that's more important? Generate a random plant. Bonus to stealth is good too. Warden's Lodge. Curio shop. Curio shop looks pretty good too. Generates a random creature part every turn. That could help with enchanting and stuff. But no, we'll get to that. But let's. You know, I don't need a mechanics bonus. Just is the bonuses? Are these bonuses going to just be +1 or are they going to be +2? I wonder. Well, what the hell? Let's build it and find out. Who cares? It's just all of our money. So I've hired all kinds of people now. There's my Vagabond Scald. There's my Mercenary Mind Striker. I got my other guy here. The Thug. And the Soldier. So, Cipher, Chanter, Fighter, and Rogue. So I'm hiring the followers that are of the same classes as my favorite classes to be. Now I don't know what the Fellow of St. Widewin is. He's obviously, I'm guessing, either a priest or a monk. I'm gonna go in the house here. Yeah, my money's gonna dwindle down pretty fast if I don't start making some money. Now that I'm paying all these hirelings. Oh, there's Aloth. He's standing there looking at the books. That's cool. Oh, I can talk to him, even though he's not in my party. That's cool. I wonder why there's chests, usable chests in every one of these rooms. Like, they could just have chests that you don't use, so the fact that they made them all usable on purpose is interesting. Hey, this is... I've been through this before, haven't I? I tried to click on this and I couldn't. Okay. Because I don't think there was ever stuff in those, was there? Alright, well that St. Widewood guy is not here in one of my guest rooms, so... And, look. Like, Aloth is here, but... Oh, and she's off escorting, but we don't know where the hell Durance is, because he's not here. Not in the house, anyway. So maybe he's somewhere else. Oh my god, 650 I had to pay for my hirelings. 650! Jeez. And this one still says unpaid. I don't know what that means. Yeah, that's too much. That's a lot. I need to make some more money. Okay, well... That ring did not mysteriously just start working, either. That's much to my sadness. Alright, well... That is going to be the end of this episode. And the end of the stream for a little while. So, thanks for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity.